Okay, so I think I released a video 2 days ago about the C1 sprite, and one of the viewers suggested it should have at least one more entrance. And I think that's a common thing that people request for, especially for Crusader ships. And I think it started with the MSR because it only has one entrance. And I think to myself, do we really want a ship like that to have one more entrance? Because I think the problem that's being addressed here is, I think, misidentified. Okay, so now if you're used to the MSR, I think the most irritating thing to you probably is, let's say you go back to a ship, you want to fly away. And at this point, you just want to take off and get away from the place you are, okay? So you don't care about anything in the ship. You just want to get to the cockpit, okay? So you got one door. Another door. And another door. So you got 4 doors to get to the cockpit. Okay, and the second problem is that it will take a long time to get outside, which I think is compounded by all the doors closing. You're having to wait until they open up again. Now, if the developers, when they add the resource management gameplay, from the footage you can see that you probably can also lock specific doors open or shut, which means you can then design the pathways through your ship. Let's say you want to get out quickly, you can just keep all doors open, which exposes you to some risk if some hostile player comes in, but you get a faster way out. So that would, I think, fix most of the complaints of just wanting to get off the ship quickly. So the first suggestion is just wait for them to add more features so we can control the doors. And the second thing is that I think the primary purpose of a ship should be to keep the player safe from the outside and give him the feeling of being safe inside the ship. And the bigger the ship, the bigger the feeling of safety, and the more effort it should take in terms of time to actually get out of the ship. So for example, in Reclaimer, which is the size of a house, it should take time to get outside. So in Reclaimer, for example, I never used that small one-man exit behind the cockpit. I always use the airlocks if I'm in 0G, or the cargo elevator. It takes longer, but I just like the procedure of going through the motions of exiting the ship. And it's the same with the MSR. Okay, you got this really beautifully built-in cockpit. It looks like really safe on the inside. So it's almost like a flying tank the way it feels. Okay, and then you go outside. Now let's imagine all the stuff they showed of a sitcom will be in the game. Okay, so you get out of the cockpit, and you go from the cockpit. Let's say you grab your gun and 2 magazines. Your pistol you got lying over here because persistence assume it's working. Take your pistol. You leave here and you purposely lock this door, and after you exit this door, you lock this door too. So if anybody tries to steal a ship, he has 2 extra doors to go through. Then you grab a gun from a rack, go to habitation, put on your spacesuit, take your helmet out, perhaps wash your face somewhere in the... Is there a bathroom in there? Or was it in the other ships? I don't know. And you pick up some extra supplies over here. Okay, and then you leave. And before leaving the ship, you go to the engineering bay and use some engineering gameplay, like optimizing some components before you leave, and then you get out. And then the ship is not anymore that annoying thing that is between the cockpit and the mission you're going to. Then it's actually gameplay itself. And so that's why I wouldn't ask for more entrances. Just give the ship more interactive gameplay. And I think also that once more long-term persistence things in the game. Like let's assume you're on Pyro, okay? And like 15, 20 minutes away from the next space station, you're living off the own food, ammo, and supplies that you brought with your ship. And you come back from a mission, you're wounded, you need to drink something, you limp back into the ship, you heal yourself, you drink something, and the deeper you go into the ship, the more doors close behind you, the safer you're going to feel. And the more immersed you will probably feel being in the big ship. And I think that just the procedure of going deeper and deeper into a larger ship, I think it's necessary for that feeling of safety to for the player to feel it when he goes into the ship. And I think players often compare that to the Cutlass and the Freelancer, because those are ships that have very convenient entrances, but those were built much earlier when the game was designed. which means there wasn't much gameplay other than that running out of your ship quickly and back into your ship. And for those situations, the Freelancer and the Cutlass are great. You don't really feel, it doesn't really feel like being in a spaceship, being in a Cutlass or in a Freelancer.